Welcome back to Wake Up and Live with the Arts. I'm Gary Webster. Next to me is Beverly Christie, and Beverly and I have had the privilege of working together through Wake Up and Live with the Wake Up and Live Actors Studio on a number of occasions in the recent past.
We have, yes.
And Beverly is responsible for the presence today of the two gentlemen sitting to your right. And would you introduce us, please?
Oh, of course. To my right is Darryl McCullough. He is a screenwriter, author, director, filmmaker, and he's going to talk about a film that we did last summer called Holiday Lie. And to Darryl's right is Kenny Santiago Marrero.
She said it right.
Who's starred in the film, and we're very pleased to have him tonight, and he's going to be giving us his take on the film as well.
And the operative word in what you just told us was a film that we worked on, so you were involved in this.
Right.
Film.
Darryl asked me to join the crew as script supervisor, and I've known Darryl from prior projects, and I know him to be a very serious filmmaker, and I was more than pleased to come on board with that.
Now, we know you as a performer,
right?
Essentially. So, Darryl, what prompted you to get in touch with Beverly to ask her to serve in that particular capacity?
Well, I think Beverly was really nice, very professional. And the project that we were involved in was not as professional. So me being the writer, I write it and my work is done. I kind of sit back and let other people take care of it. And things were not taken care of the best way. So now that I have an opportunity to have my own production company, I remembered Beverly and gave her a call.
Now, what exactly does a script supervisor do?
Well, that was the question I asked Darryl.
That must have been a loaded question, huh, Kenny? Is that a loaded question?
Absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Well, essentially, you make sure that all of the lines in the script have been said, and all of the shots have been shot, although you collaborate with the camera crew on that. So it's basically making sure that everything in the script has been covered completely.
Now, Darryl, was this your company's first film?
No, actually, well, let me go. I'm an author, as Beverly mentioned, and I have a book that's called Perfectly Sane.
So, want to show it?
I used the book title Perfectly Sane for my production company. And when we started doing short projects, when we went into films, I changed it to Sane Poet Films, because this is strictly for film, where Perfectly Sane was more so for my books, my blog column, things like that.
Well, I find that a fascinating title, because being a performer and a writer myself, I know that none of us are perfectly sane.
Right.
So that is where'd you come up with that title?
People were reading my writings. I've been writing since I was 14. I had a ulcer at 14, then a bleeding ulcer at 16. And the doctor said that I need to do something to alleviate my stress. So when I put things together, people said, "You're crazy." And I said, "No, I'm perfectly sane."
Perfectly insane.
That's how I came up with that.
And did you use that then, writing, in any way as an outlet? As the doctor was telling you to get rid of the stress?
That's all I did. And I just have, mounds and mounds of writings, and I put them all together. This is just my first book. My second book is being edited right now. So, yeah.
Okay. Darryl, how did you get Kenny involved? Did he just show up at an audition? Because I wasn't involved at that point.
Yeah, when we did a casting call for our project Holiday Lie,
Miss Barbara,
Kenny came to a casting call. What's funny is the story deals with raising a child with the concept of believing in Santa Claus and some other problems that this family has prior to Christmas. When I wrote it, I saw a certain personality for the wife, a certain personality for the husband, and I just saw a white guy, and I saw a black lady. So I cast it for a white person, black person, and Kenny showed up.
Absolutely.
And
Santiago,
right,
el Latino, tú
but
sabes.
I was so drawn by him, and he was such a go-getter that I just said, okay. And a lot of writers, we have to change. You know, we may not get exactly what we wanted, but with Kenny, I got what I wanted and more.
It was actually premeditated on my end of the whole story. You see, what happened was I was driving down, and I seen a tall black guy holding a script and carrying a bunch of food. I was like, that guy's got to be a director, and he's got to be having auditions. You remember that?
Oh, yeah. Yep. And he helped me. He helped me.
I think he's the director. I think that's him right there.
Right.
But
so it worked out fantastic.
no, it was definitely a pleasure to work with Darryl, and you know, and she was amazing. I thought you were like a professional, like in the union, with the way you took care of all of
Oh,
us.
really? Oh, well, thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
And you know, Darryl said that it was actually, I've been on a lot of sets. I've done a lot of student films. I went to the Academy of Arts, San Francisco, and guys with master's degrees, BAs, it was nightmares, but this was definitely such a pleasant experience from the beginning to the end. You know, Darryl went out of his way to hire an acting coach that worked with me and that also got to, you know, help us grow and which actually helped the shoot speed up in its process too. So it wasn't so tedious. Didn't take that long to do. You know, I don't know. You can probably talk a little bit more on that.
I realize that I want the Hollywood type situation, but this is Cleveland. So we all work. We have jobs and responsibilities, so I try to work on a family-oriented schedule. So I had everything organized on how we were going to film, when, where, how long, so that it wouldn't take up a lot of time for people involved, because a lot of people worked at a reduced rate to be a part of the project. And I'm thankful for that. So let's get this done quick, easy, painless. However, we have to have quality. And I believe that we achieved that.
Now, we've had a number of independent filmmakers on this program over the years, and one thing that I like to get into myself, because I am an aspiring filmmaker, I've got all sorts of scripts, but it's difficult to put everything together. And logistically speaking, now, how did your film come together? I mean, you shot it in the Cleveland area. Where specifically did you shoot, and what has to be done in order to secure various locations? Is it just a matter of we showed up, we had our crew and our cast with us, and we did our thing? I know it's more difficult than that. What logistically needs to be done to put an independent film together?
Well, I thought about it. I write very basic, with a deep script, with a deep meaning. So I have support, and because of my book, I have people who, you know, what do you need? Let me help you. So I have a buddy who lives in Streetsboro. I said, okay, I want to shoot this film. I want to do it in a weekend, one location. And we got the support of Streetsboro. My buddy's house, we had it for 2 days, 2.5 days, and it worked out great. You know, when you trying to, you know, you have a location over here and you have this, and we got to go to this house, it just makes that project that much more difficult, that you have to, you know, move everything all over. You know, I wanted to make it crisp and clean.
We had a day in Twinsburg as well.
Yes,
a day in
that's
Twinsburg
right.
at the Twinsburg Senior Center.
Right.
And the home of our young actress, 9-year-old Abigail Burke, who you will be just thrilled to see her lovely performance. We actually filmed, there's a scene between Kenny and Abigail, their father and daughter, and there's like a good night scene, and we actually filmed it in her very own bedroom, which worked out beautifully. She was just a beautiful set.
Now that, I think, is a fascinating point that you just made. You shot it in the young girl's bedroom. How much of that sort of thing were you able to do, shooting in someone's home, or?
I'd love to share on that just for a moment,
Okay.
because it's really interesting. Especially one thing when it comes to films and storytellings like this, and with, you know, people that are writing their own scripts, is it takes a team to make it a production. It's definitely the more tight, the more connected, the more a level of respect and courtesy and also silliness to each other, because it takes all the little personalities to make a production like that happen. And then you get the luxury of, you know, teaming up with friends that have homes, and then if you have a kid, then you look at obviously their kids first, if they have the wit that you need. If not, then you look elsewhere and you bring the talent. But still, it's just a whole production and a whole joint effort to make it happen. And I know that's what helped Darryl and Beverly with this whole project, is they had that going on. So it's comfortable for Abigail to be there. And I played her father, Bernard, in the story, in which there's a lot of inside problems happening, issues that come around the holidays, which is really interesting about the writing behind this from Darryl. Is he attacks little points that are really small, but they're so significant to the change in a life, this of a child.
Well, Kenny, let me ask you now about the acting angle. Once you had the part, what did you do to prepare for it, to familiarize yourself with it, to get to feel that you were this individual?
Well, that's kind of a little bit about the what happens. I've been doing stage for a long time, so I love the whole idea of character building. I love the whole idea of what happens in a production, with post-production, when everybody's studying lines, when everybody's bringing a script to life. So kind of one thing that Darryl did to help us with that was bringing on board, before we even went to a shoot location, he had us being coached and being mentored and helping us grow as actors with each of us individually by a hired on, acting coach.
And that coach was Ellen Friedman.
Mm-hmm. Ellen Friedman. Mm-hmm. And that was such a smooth move, is all I can say, because it totally helped everything now to get him where he wants to be, to the point where his project is ready to go out there and be distributed and have release dates. And you can probably talk more about that.
Yeah, tell them about post-production and where it is at the moment.
We had the film scored. Last month, it will be ready for submitting to film festivals, I'd say probably around next month, the month after, because of the theme being Christmas. I don't want to put it out right now, but right around September, October, November, it will be ready to be submitted to film festivals.
And then what will be next on the agenda for you?
Well, just going on what we were talking about a minute ago, it takes support to help these projects for them to reach completion. So if I have a good group of people, I want to move them on to the next. I don't need to start with a whole new crew. And through the Cleveland Film Commission, I found a lot of talent. So that talent that worked on Holiday Lie, most of those people will go with me to do our next project, which is entitled Deadly Desperation, which will be my first feature.
And we're going to start casting that shortly, correct?
Yes, we'll be casting for Deadly Desperation in March, and we're looking for a lot of the more talented people in the Cleveland area.
Absolutely.
Now, the city of Cleveland itself and the state of Ohio is trying to compete for the dollars that are out there these days. I mean, everybody wants to bring Hollywood production companies into their state, into their city. Can you compare, well, just tell us what you know about the status of Ohio, northeastern Ohio, at this present time as it compares to, there was a big deal being made about that superhero movie with Robert Downey Jr. The governor, the Avengers, yeah, the governor managed to talk them out of going to Michigan and doing the film in Cleveland instead. How do the local states compare in the way that they are friendly or not friendly to the film producing community?
I know I can just say a little bit from the point of view of an actor, and also I'm sure Ms. Beverly right here will understand. Me spending some time in the West Coast, that was the first thing. Is in Cleveland here was where I got my theater background. I grew up on the stage. I've been doing community theater all my life since day one. My dad and parents were missionaries, so I got to do a lot of traveling. That was kind of embedded into me. In other words, I had no choice. You were doing them at the age of 1 all the way until, so on and so forth. My first experience of college theater was through Lorraine County Community College, which is I started with a theater program there with Dr. Cahill. I was there for about 3 years, went to Milwaukee and competed for theater scholarships, and then that drove me to the Academy of Arts in San Francisco. And then I went through this shift. It's like no more stage. Not that I was walking away from it, but I wanted to embrace film, just to see, why not? I had been told a few times, we're doing some fun little films in the area with some friends, and they actually came out fairly well. So going to the West Coast, my first experience in filmmaking, it was definitely different. It was definitely diverse. And I didn't really get any of it in Cleveland when I was here. That was over 7 years ago. And so after I spent almost 6 years in California doing a lot of contemporary films, indie films, student films, a lot of film documentaries, a lot of hosting, It was definitely, it wasn't the soothing vibe that I felt from over here doing the stage and in the performance world. I will say that. But I did meet some amazing people, and I got to do some amazing productions out here. I got to meet some amazing celebrities and really go through some amazing workshops and training. But still, I will say this, that the cost of anything getting done on the West Coast was ridiculous. Very ridiculous. And I started getting into the producing world as I started writing my own material and going on, and then you just kind of feel the effects when you see bills and you see the numbers and what you're going to need to budget everything on. It was insanity. You know, like perfectly sane, you know, but it was insanity. And I took a shift from California to the city of Nashville. And over there I have a great agency that I've been working with, Elsmeyer Talent and Talent Track. And I got to do a lot of commercial work there. I got my first screen credit on Percy Jackson, The Lightning Thief, just because I can control kids. I work with a lot of reject kids out of Lorraine and Compton and all other kind of places. So when all these kids were around, so if you look at the big bubble scene in Nashville, you'll see a bunch of kids, you know, you can say hi. That's me. But that was Nashville, my first week in Nashville, and it's amazing because the budget and the cost, because the city was inviting, the city was welcoming. And I was like, man, I'm closer to Ohio, which is where my parents live. And then I started branching off into Michigan, which I signed on with another agency. And then a lot of work in Michigan started opening up. I got to do some really great auditions and got to do some really great productions over there. And but still, my heart was in this area because remember, my folks are here. And then as I transfer in and I commute in, I connect with, that's kind of what happened with Darryl. Around the same time that I ran into Darryl, I had maybe been in the Ohio area maybe possibly 3 weeks, and I was working with a friend, Barbara Davila, and I was doing another prior production with her. Went to see her, and they were auditioning, and that's how I knew, and I was like, okay, they're doing something here, another, you know, filmmaker from the area. So that brought Holiday Eye, and then right before Holiday Live, there's another production company right out of Elyria, Ohio, which is Line 10 Entertainment, that I've also been collaborating with. Right now we have a project, I won't specify myself, it's a team effort. But Clint Eastwood is reading the script and has approved of it. It's about the first black country singer, and that's all I can say about it.
You're teasing us now.
You just said something.
I did. I said a few things.
Well, yes, you did. And I want to
Spill the
point this
beans.
out because, and Beverly can verify this, you have just verified something that Sue Johnson has often told us as performers about filling out your talent resume, specifically special talents.
Absolutely.
What you might think is absolutely normal, average, that everybody does, put it down as a special talent anyway, because you never know when it may come in handy. And you just said it. I got the part because I can control kids. And that's why I got the part.
That's a
so
lot of
for you
growth right
aspiring
there.
actors out there, put that on your talent resume. If you can control kids,
Hey.
put it down because Kenny got the part because of it.
Hey, buddy, you know, hey, watch some damn Nickelodeon shows. Don't miss it. I'm telling you.
Hey, that's my favorite
It takes a little
cable network.
special gift of patience, and even on that, in this whole journey of a performer, even a writer, director, actress, you know, entertainer, it's just a journey, and you're either dedicated to it, and you're in it for the long ride, or you're just kind of seeking a quick little fame and fortune, which those end up falling off the wagon.
Yeah, and I agree 100%. Just to piggyback off of you, you have to do this, especially what we're doing, for the love of the art, not the love of the fame and the money. Because of dealing with independent filmmakers, a lot of them that have that dream in front of them, I see the flaws in their production. But if you know, look, we have a good product, let's do this the best way that we can do it, and everything else I think will happen afterwards.
And I think Kenny has kind of said it there. We have great talent here in Cleveland, and you don't necessarily have to be from the bigger markets to do a good project.
No, absolutely not. And it's up to us to do good work, to let the rest of the world know that it can be and is being done here.
Correct.
Well, Darryl, once again, we just hold up the book there so everybody can see it. And for those who'd like to get a copy, how can they obtain one?
Well, information for Perfectly Sane is at my website, sanepoet.com, sanepoet.com. Also for our film, it's Sane Poet Films, sanepoetflim films. Did I say that right? SanePoetFilms.com. That's where you can get all the information on our film. If the trailer for Holiday Lie is on YouTube, and if you just go to YouTube and type in Holiday Lie, it's a black and white film.
And Kenny, how can all the producers and directors out there who want somebody who can control kids, among other things, how can they get in touch with you?
And yell at them in Spanish too. Okay, it's really easy to find me. You know, my name is Kenny Santiago Marrero, Santiago, last name Marrero. It's really easy to Facebook me. You'll catch a lot of the trailers from Holiday Lie. You'll catch a lot of the trailers from the local directors, Karahi, Line 10. We have another film that day. So that's really easy. You can Facebook me. Also, my email is K for Kenny, _S for Santiago, period, and then my last name, which is Marrero. And you can also make it really easy by just Googling my name, and it should take you to my website, Kenny Santiago Marrero.
And
you can get my
guys,
phone number on there, too.
Sure.
I got to get that off.
Of course. Guys, we really...
Hey, I'm Daddy's little girl.
Couple more hours and Santa Claus will be here, Daddy.
Robin,
Yes, Mother?
what is this? You look at me when I'm talking to you. What did I tell you about people who lie?
They go to hell.
So from now on, we only tell the truth in this house.
Daddy,
Yes, honey?
will Santa Claus still bring me gifts tomorrow at midnight?
I think this is probably a good time for us to tell her there's no such thing as Santa Claus.
My mother let me find out the truth about Santa Claus on my own, and so should Robin.
I just don't want to get hurt.
Santa? Santa, is that you?
I want to thank you for joining us this evening and telling us about Holiday Lie. And we want to make sure that you stick around because there is more Wake Up and Live with the Arts to come with myself and Karen and Sue and Beverly. Thanks for bringing these guys in this evening.
You're very welcome. My pleasure.
We'll be right back.